I was saying Boo Earns.
Hello and good morning and welcome back to The Grade Cricketer, brought to you by ACO, India's leading digital insurance company. I want to apologise to the sponsor straight away because no one's going to watch this one. Because Root's right back in the big boys. Is he leading the big boys? He's the only one who's playing at the moment, I suppose, including Virat. Make of that what you will. The scores, Pezzy lad. Good morning to you, sir, first of all.
Thank you, and to you, mate. Let's crack on.
Oh, gee. Oh, wow. Okay. No time for chit-chat this morning. England, all out for 391. Last ball of the day, Anderson rock and rolled. Never seen him number 11 more disappointed by missing a straight one. That's all well and good, though, Pez. Now, the people, what they really want is, what do they want, Pez? What do they really want to know?
I'll tell you what they want, what they really, really want. And you can actually deduce that from the 15 or so comments that were left when we omitted to include the grade explainer or to put the day in grade terms a couple of days back. So he goes, can you do exactly that? Because we only give the audience what they want. Put the day in grade terms.
Now, how many of us have heard the captain after a day's play this? I feel it in my fingers. I feel it in my toes. Rooters all around us. The rest of the team need some fucking throws. I mean,
you hark me right back to my 10 years of grade cricket. Whenever the captain summarised a day's play, we didn't even say put it in grade terms. We said put it in a stanza, please.
Yeah. Guys, can I please have a sonnet?
Preferably in the meter of wet, wet, wets. Love is all around.
Okay, now let's get into the real stuff, Pez. What an innings from Johnny Bairstow. No, Joe Root. Geez, it was good. 180 not out. Red ink. This guy is in career best form. We've said it before. Superlatives all around. Wet, wet, wet for days. He's the only guy who can hold the bat. But he's doing so well for England. Off the field, on the field. Runs. Is he the best batsman you've ever seen?
He's not the best batsman I've ever seen, but it was flawless yesterday. I mean, it's really tempting to just career straight into what it means for his place in the pecking order. But in terms of the innings itself, just like so many of them, immaculately built. At 2 for 23 for 2, let's be respectful. And starting with nudges and glides and nicks before expanding into the full repertoire. Now, there's a lot of analogies that could be used that are similar to that, but I think we used them yesterday, and by that I mean cooking. It is difficult to know what more you can say. His innings really, the shots are all around the ground. He absorbs pressure when he needs to. He dials it up when he needs to. He does it when everyone else around him is falling and struggling, which kind of underlines his class so much. Yeah. And, mate, you know what he's doing? He's 30 years old, and great players tend to have really consistent summers generally. He lost his way for the last couple of years for a while. They're averaging 30 across formats and stuff, but they're usually pretty consistent even if they're not at their absolute best. And then through their career, they have a golden summer. I mean, I remember Ricky Ponting having this in 03, 04 or something when they're just at the absolute peak of their powers. And you just don't feel like you're going to get them out until they decide they're going to get out. And it looks like that's what we're watching with Joe Root. So it is really a case of sitting back and enjoying it. I'm sorry, Indian fans, but I mean the guy has caught fire, NBA Jam style. He will decide when he wants to get out, and it's a joy to watch. And he's going to take his average back up to 50 soon enough. And I'm really pleased for him. He still hasn't done it in Australia yet. But he's going to be he's going to be coming to Australia. I mean, there's 3 tests to go here. Anything can happen. But he looks like he's dialed in for a record-breaking summer, just past 9,000 runs. Yeah. It's great to watch, and it's going to put him in good stead for a date with destiny in Brisbane.
Mate, he has got the hot hand, which is a medical issue, which has been looked in by the team physio, I believe. But 9,000 test runs. He's Sky put up a stat of the youngest to get to 9,000. He's like the second youngest to 9,000 test runs, and he's like a full year younger than Ponting. And Ponting, for me anyway, was the best batsman in my lifetime. Which is about to end, obviously, at the end of this video. So I really want to stretch this one out. But mate, 180, fourth hundred at Lords. All of those hundreds were above 150. So he's gone daddy as well.
He likes daddies at Lords.
Oh, don't we all like a daddy at Lords? Not to be used with Dada at Lords, who just is looking for a friend at the moment.
Well, if we could, I mean, it is a tangent, but you know the power bases of cricket can be summarised when you see the camera shots of all the dignitaries standing all in the same box, and everyone's having their turn going up to Dada talking. I haven't once yet seen him make eye contact with them, and I haven't once yet seen him bring his eyes up from his phone. Right. And that's just classic first grade behaviour, and I appreciate it. I mean, just underscores that Dada is the king when it comes to power. But on field, Joe Root is the daddy of Lords because he only makes daddies when he's there.
Until
made all power to him.
Until Ed Sheeran turns up for his one day of Test cricket a year. Just with the other batting pairs, Bairstow 57. He's now locked himself in for the rest of the series probably because I can't remember the last time another English batsman got a 50. Is that just my brain not working? But it's been that long that also I don't know if you saw it. The celebration for Bairstow's 50 was like he'd fucking scored 230. And as you know, you always put your bat up for 230. It was fist pump running down the pitch, fist pump, fucking celebrations, big dapping it up as well with Root. It was like big celebration. He's obviously a popular player, Bairstow, and rightfully so because we know there are some stories there. But it's just the overreaction for a Test 50. I mean, I know he's come back in the team. I know there's a whole narrative around it, but it was just like that's how badly England are going that one other guy gets 50 and it's like, fuck me, what a performance. The guy at the other end's doing on his dick. But it's pretty amazing. I mean, the rest of the batting lineup, I mean, I want to get to it at the ends, but it is incredible. Joe Root, 180 red ink, one of the great performances we've seen from an England batsman in the last few years, no doubt about that. He's put them right in the game here, and they're leading by 27 runs. So I don't even know if England are in front. Anyhow, we'll come to that in a moment's time. Pez, I want to talk about the second thing. And that is that the conversation now circulates around, is Ashwin our best ever player? And it's a great point in the sense that, you always become a better player when you're not playing. Like the Australian Test team at the moment, Australia will win the Ashes 5-0. We know that. What happened in Bangladesh doesn't count because it wasn't on TV. Didn't see it. Didn't happen. Tree falling in the woods shit. You know what I'm saying? Now, Ashwin, not selected. Now it's like, really should have picked him. Not sure. Not sure about that.
I think they could have used Ashwin. It's just one of those things where it's a 50-50 selection, isn't it? I mean, they played Ishant instead, and I thought Ishant bowled really well, particularly when he picked up 2 in 2, 32 years old.
Got 3 for.
But he toiled manfully, whatever that means. I think they all did. Sure. But there were runs to be had today on a flat Lords wicket. We'll get to that. What was it? Siraj 4 bowled. He was very strong in the final session as well. I think when the wicket gets slow and flat and it's hot, you do want a spinner who can break up the rhythm and can ask different questions of batters. So perhaps Ashwin would have been a good choice, but I mean, at the end of the day, what we're looking at is a really close match at the moment that's set up beautifully off the back of a maestro innings from one guy from England and pretty balanced performance from India otherwise.
Yeah, and Anderson 5 wickets as well. It's interesting with Jadeja playing. He bowled 22 overs, none for 43. Jadeja in India is a guy who can take wickets for you, obviously, with the spinning tracks and his accuracy and his guile and he's just the relentless pressure that he puts on. But sort of outside of India, in my observation anyway, it's a very defensive bowler who can bowl at sort of 2 runs and over 1.9 something and over. Someone's going to write that in the comments. It's actually 1.97, per over, and it's and that's a serviceable job. He's put in 22 overs here, so it's better than sort of Moeen Ali's respectfully part-time off-spin or Joe Root's off-spin. But it's you do wonder a little bit, Ashwin more attacking, could he have picked up more wickets? Did he put more pressure on the England batters? Do you need to put that much pressure on the England batters? Because at the moment it's really like, how do you get Joe Root out? Is Ashwin going to get Joe Root out? Because that's the literal difference in this series at the moment. And I'm not really sure. I mean, I suppose Ashwin would add a bit more batting as well. Which does come into this, I think, conversation, especially with Thakur injured. But Ashwin, well, I guess, look, Ishant Sharma replaces Ashwin in this test match. He takes 3 for, he bowls really well, 3 for 60 something, I think it was. And the difference is, would Ashwin bowl better than what Ishant did, really? That's the question.
Well, mate, and I think it's going to be an interesting one to observe after the second innings as well, because there's a bit of rough developing outside off stump. Perhaps a spinner would come more into the game as well, and maybe we need to cool the jets on Jadeja before the fourth innings, and whether he might be able to do something. I mean, my suspicion is, when you've got Jasprit Bumrah finishing wicketless, bowling so well in the last game, I'm going to go ahead and say, like, it's just pretty good batting conditions and pretty tough for the bowlers to make any incision. They weren't getting heaps of help from the deck. Pretty sluggish kind of stuff. But, I think it's all to play for in the to if you could excuse the cliche, in the second dig. So I don't want to commit any comments about anything.
No, don't. No. Mate, you're completely right. The batting conditions were so good that 2 guys got past 50. The third thing I want to raise, Pez, and I want to raise this actually with you privately. Can England stay in control? Because I think England have wrestled control of this game. You would have thought going into this into day 3 here, India in front, they sort of had the running, could have easily bowled England out for 200, but England have got 391 on the board. Can England stay in this? Because that's what it feels like at the moment. One guy is keeping them in the contest. Can they stay in it? Can something amazing happen on day 4?
I mean, what you can say about England is that, like, they are a big momentum team, and the crowd gets behind them, whether they're popping cork bottles at KL Rahul's back or pretending that they're Indian players walking onto the field with a massive gut. The crowd will get behind them when they get a little bit of a roll on. But, the way I see the game is it's perfectly placed. It's, 3 days gone, 2 innings complete, 2 to go, 2 days left. Everything's even, and that works well for my brain. I solve a few Rubik's Cubes later after this. But, England has a slender advantage, but they have to bat last. I think it's completely even. And, my suspicion is, it's a boring one, is that it's quite flat, and that, a draw's on pretty hard here. I think that, the wicket's flat enough that really what it reveals is that there's a lot of batters who are out of form, and if you're in form, you're getting runs because the bowlers aren't really able to extract very much. So, I guess it's one of those things, like, because KL Rahul and Rohit Sharma are the guys in form, there's probably a little bit more pressure on them to get the runs tomorrow. And if England can nibble them out and expose 3, 4, 5 who are struggling, then they might have a chance. But it's probably, you're looking at who's going to do that for England, and fuck, Jimmy's quad's going to be taking a big old load, again.
Yeah.
So from all of us.
That's some more stepmom stuff. #AskTGC brought to you by Acco. This one comes in from Twitter, Pez. Ayush Sharma. Love the show, boys. Can we all agree that Root has uprooted Kohli's world's best batsman title? Perhaps clean shaven is better than the beard vectors. Root has scored runs in Sri Lanka, India, now here. Kohli, not much in recent times. Ooh. Mate, can I answer that own question that I just read out? I don't know, as an Anglo watching cricket, if it could have got any better as an experience, like putting myself in Joe Root's shoes, as I do, as is my want, than when he was reverse lapping, was it Shami? Oh, no, it was Siraj, I think it was, over second slip with the setting sunlight of the verdant pastures of a Lord's cricket ground. I'm on 170 not out. I'm having fun with my mate Jimmy Anderson and non-strikers and keeping him off strike, just having the absolute time of my life. I don't think Joe Root would care where I rank in the top 4 big boys, or even know what that is, because that's confected from the great cricketer. I just think that must be the most fun that you could have batting.
Or even more fun after that is Shami and Siraj bowling deliberate front foot no balls and hitting Anderson and Bumrah doing that while Joe Root sits on his bat at the non-strikers and laughing on a 175 not out. Thank you very much. These are all the things you earn when you score big boy runs. I think with Kohli v Root, I mean, in the 21st century internet era, you know, where we're all neuralised after one day, then Root's the best bat in the world, and who's Virat Kohli? I can't remember anything from 2 days ago, so nothing matters. But really, like the truth is, it ebbs and flows, isn't it? Like Kohli's 2 years older than Root, but he's played 50 fewer Test innings than him. He scored nearly 1,500 fewer runs, but he averages 51.7 Kohli, 27 tons. So he's got 6 more tons than Joe Root. He's got 25 fewer 50s than Joe Root. But I mean, Kohli's probably played in better conditions than Root over his time. Root's 1600s come in England, which have a little bit of a tax on them, I reckon. But really, the way they're reasonably even at Test cricket, I'd say. But Kohli shits on him in white ball cricket, even though you'd think it'd be hard to shit on Root with 6,000 ODI runs at 51, 16 tons, 35 50s at 86. But then Kohli comes along with 12,000 ODI runs at 59, 43 tons, 62 50s at a strike rate of 93. So I do think Kohli's a better bat than Joe Root, but not at the moment.
What the fuck are those numbers, mate? Can you imagine, like, in your club team, we got a guy who averages 59 in white ball cricket? What? What kind of security is that?
Actually, look, those two sets of stats are quite instructive in terms of the direction of the game of cricket, because Root's 2 years younger than Kohli. He's played 50 more Test innings than him. So England likes playing Test cricket. Kohli, 2 years older, has scored double the ODI runs because he's played way more of that that format, obviously at a higher average, but sort of just shows the directions that both countries are going in when it comes to cricket. I think Kohli's got Root covered, which is just paying respects to things that Kohli's done in the past, but he hasn't done it in a minute, and I'm hoping he can, because I want to see some Kohli runs. I'm getting a bit itchy, actually.
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit itchy as well. Again, more medical issues from the great cricketer. All right, we'll be back tomorrow for day 4. For those in the comments who want us to review West Indies, Pakistan, one question: when do you want us to sleep? All right, see you tomorrow.